So today we're going to talk about stress and how it's affecting your fat loss efforts. The big thing to know about stress is that there are four main types: emotional, mental, physical, and psychological. Now, the stress is a normal thing that happens, and the big thing you want to know is that no matter what the input is, your body always has the same response, which is a release of cortisol. And that's okay, because cortisol is a good thing. It helps us be present, alert, to respond quickly. It activates the fight or flight system. It's kept us alive. And stress is also how we adapt and grow, whether it's muscles, or improving your muscle after a workout, or getting away from a difficult situation. All of these things heighten our senses and make us better humans. The problem comes when that we switch from a acute stress, which is a short-term temporary thing that we can deal with, to a chronic stress. And stress, honestly, always implies that there's something out of your control. And that's the chronic stress we deal with, which is this ongoing thing that we really can't put a finger on and we can't solve. In the old days, if a bear came out of the woods and scared you, you ran away. It was an event, a response, physical response, and then a resolution. And the stress went away, you felt good, you got endorphins for surviving. Good. Today, you see somebody that said something to you mean on an Instagram or social media, or news of some widespread disease or problem in the world has gone on, and now it's just chronically there in your brain. You can't really do anything about it. It's outside of your circle of influence. That is a long-term stressor. And the problem is our bodies are not equipped to deal with that, and that leaves us in this fight or flight stage for a long period of time. And the difficulty is your body has the same adaptations for the stress period, whether it's acute or chronic. And when it's in a chronic situation, those things aren't serving you well. Your body elevates its blood glucose level, so it holds more glucose in the body by suppressing insulin, which is also a marker and helps you feel full and satiated so you don't eat more. It wants the glucose in the blood so that you can use it to run away and deal with stuff. So people will have chronically elevated blood glucose levels. It will slow down your fat loss effort. So in an effort to hold all the fat it can, your body will say, we're not going to break down our fat for energy, we're going to consume more. It affects your hormones, the leptin and ghrelin, that affect your satiety level and fullness level, and your hunger signaling. So you are hungrier, signaling more hunger, and you have less satiation because your body's trying to take in all the calories it can. Stops muscle building. Your healing process isn't as effective. All of these things are elevated, and that affects your sleep, which affects your ability to recover. It's a toxic situation that tends to last for a long period of time, and you become the victim of the whole situation. Now, the most important thing you can do is to manage your stress, and that has become a very popular catchphrase now, where people self-care, love yourself, all this stuff, and manage your stress. But what does that mean, and why is it important? What's important, because if you can't manage your stress, you're going to be in this chronically uptight, agitated phase for long periods of time, which leads to inflammation, cancer, long-term diseases, and problems for your body, and that's no place to be. So the first step you can start to do is look at a perspective. If there's something that's stressing you out, is it in your circle of control, circle of influence? If it's not, it's out of your control. And as much as it's difficult to let go of that, you have to. And that doesn't mean that you just naively accept what's going to happen. It means, is there a choice I can make? So let's say you have to drive to work every day and you have to take a highway that's really crowded, and it just stresses you out to be on there. But not just that, it stresses you out when you have to think about leaving work or when you have to think about going home. You can't control the traffic on the road. And if you can't control when you get on the highway, you can control which way you drive home. So even if it takes you 5 or 10 minutes longer, if it's a less stressful route, that's an option. So understanding what is the perspective, what can I change, what can I not, accept what you can and change what you can. That's going to be the first step, is starting to pick what is worth stressing about, what is not. And oftentimes, if it's something you're stressing about, there's a choice you can make to either remove yourself from the situation or find more clarity. Next part is modifying your behavior. When you feel that pang of anxiety kick in, having go-to habits like getting outside, something called forest bathing, getting out in the sunlight, getting out in the woods in nature is very helpful. It creates an open expanse where it makes it easier for us to breathe, for us to process and be outside of this claustrophobic, tight environment. Doing things like cold showers can be helpful because they activate the fight or flight. But after the cold goes away, your body calms down and helps signal the parasympathetic relaxation, rest, and digest. This is what I do every night before I go to bed. It's a great signal to calm down. Cutting out things like reading the news, cutting out Instagram, social media, things that just stress you out. You may like to do that, and it may just be kind of a thing that you do to keep yourself occupied, but if it causes you more stress, what's really the benefit? And then of course the big ones, sleep, exercise, and mindfulness, whether journaling or meditation, those are staples. Exercise is a physical way your body deals with this stress, and that's how your body will let that go. And cortisol is antagonistic to melatonin, which is the hormone that signals sleep. So if you're not dealing with the stress, you haven't done enough, you haven't broken a sweat, your body is going to have a harder time producing the melatonin. So getting out, even if it's just going for a quick walk outside or a brisk walk, taking the stairs, doing some squats in place, getting the blood flow will help a tremendous amount. So the big takeaway is that stress will absolutely torpedo your efforts. If you don't manage it, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle the whole time and honestly cause yourself more stress and anxiety.